Welcome to the I don't know the job. All right. So this is a Jupiter 6 that I've been trying to bring back to life, and currently, so initially it wouldn't boot. Um, it would boot. The panel would freeze when you turned it on. Obviously, there was no sound if the panel was frozen. A trick that I found from previous ones, that's because um, the master CPU, which is this one here, has to talk to the two slaves, that one and that one over there, right? They run the module board firmware, okay. And initially, there's like a handshaking thing. There's a response, and if you have these two plugged in here, and one of them is not working, or both of them are not working, or either of them is not working, then the panel will stay frozen. Okay, so at first I was at it was it was at that stage. It would not there was no sound coming out. As soon as you plugged in the two module boards to make the sounds, the whole thing would freeze. Um, and then something else happened, which took me a while. Hence, if you have a look, wherever you see a socketed chip, um, it means that I've taken it out, tested it, and put it back or replaced it. Now, the only thing that's normally socketed in the Jupiter 6 board, and when I first got this machine, is the ROM. Okay, it's running version 6. That's the latest one, the last one. This is a later Jupiter 6 that has MIDI through, which I hadn't seen before. Okay, so there was two things that happened. Is that one of them was that one of the RAMs had died, and the other then what happened after a while, when I was starting to work on the rest of it, trying to work on the rest of it to try and wake it up, is the clock generator, which is this guy here. That wouldn't work. The clock generator is simple. I can't remember what the name of the oscillator was called, Vanden Pol or something like that. But despite what the schematic says, and what it says on the what do you call it, on the silk screen, you can't use an LSO4 here. You have to use a HC04. The original was 40H TC40H004, Toshiba made, and that's the brand that seems to be very common. And when it comes to the ones that die, it's those ones that tend to die. So eventually I got it back to where it was, in that it won't freeze when you have these two disconnected. Then was the job to wake these guys up. So there was two things. First of all, it was this latch here for both of them. There's the clock generator. There was something else interfacing anyway, like that. And I got them both to wake up eventually, and that then I got it to the point where both boards were working, both CPUs were running, but it wouldn't make any sound. Okay. It turns out that a whole lot of this logic is dead. This is a later one, and it has this interface board, this DAC board sits on top of it. It's a replacement for what the original DAC was, and that was because that one became unavailable. So they have this add-on board instead that sits on top of the DAC, sits on top of the socket where the original DAC used to be. That wouldn't work. If the DAC doesn't work, then there's no control voltages, there's no sound. It's because these two had died on both of them. So these are 74. The original was a TC40H, and this pattern that you notice is anything that's Toshiba TC, it was suspicious. These were originally 40H273s. I I didn't have 74 HC273s, but 74 LS273 you can get from Jaycar. In this case, LS worked. It didn't matter. Didn't have to be HC. So that was that. Then this is the waveform select. This part of the waveform select is these two ones. So as you can notice that one there, I replaced with a new one, but this one here I tested and it came out fine. So I actually left the original one. Okay, so we move across and look for the socketed chips. There you go. Replace those two as well. These are 4053s. They run the waveform select. Essentially, they were both bad. So we got lucky with this one. This is the 2 voice module board. After I'd done this, it worked. Both oscillators are working. Both filters are working. The VCAs are working. The interesting thing when I first saw Jupiter 6 board is that it's half empty because this is the 2 voice board and this is the 4 voice board. Okay, so we got lucky one way that this one is fully working. It worked straight away. So I've got 2 voices. This here is a CEM3360 that runs the cross-mod. I pulled this out just to be able to test it on the 4 voice board to get it temporarily to get it to make sound, because these 3360 is actually 2 VCAs in one chip, and on the one that was here, that's this one here right there, that was in that position, only half of it worked. So you'd hear voice on the 4 voice board, you'd hear voice 2 only on VCO 2, but you wouldn't hear voice 1. Once I replaced this guy here, this one, that's the VCA for 1 and 2. I got 2 voices on the 4 voice board. Okay, so that's the VCO 1 for voice 2. That was dead. Okay, this one here, there it is. This is a CM3340 Rev G. You can get these now new. This one needs another CM that's definitely also dead, but I can't get voice 3 and 4 to come through yet. Okay, and again, you see sockets, means I've taken them out and replaced them. So we also need cross-mod, 2 cross-mods. They're waiting for AS3360s. I have a temporarily in the second position here for voice 3 and 4, the VCR. This is a good CM3360. They pull it out of my SQ80, but the 3 and 4 still not coming through. So this is where we're at. There's still something going on the Bender board. LFO2 just doesn't work properly. The thing still needs a. I'm going to I'm going to change the transistors on this because they're just notoriously for failing. The noise board doesn't. The noise waveform doesn't work at all. What I'm going to show you that currently, it's where it's at now, is what we have 4 voices fully working. This one, the 2 voice boards works completely. The 4 voice board works on 2 voices, 1 and 2. Okay. Okay, so I got the headphones plugged in. Clue is that on a Jupiter 6, if the LFO blinks, then both voice boards are running, all the software is running properly. So the easiest way to tell, okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit, okay, is to set this to 4-2 split. Okay, we're in manual mode. You're hearing the 2 voice board, 2 voices. And I got a lower, and I'm going to set it to poly 2 mode because that's going to let me show you that 1 and 2 are working. Because the way the voice sound works. Yeah, that's 2, but we don't have 3 and 4. So that's still missing. There you go. Everything else works. And yeah, that's it.